Hey, this is Lola, and today I want to tell you the real way to lose 35 pounds in 4 months. Well, again, this is Lola, and as I said in my title, I lost 35 pounds in 4 months. I shared a couple of photos online, and it was amazing to see the side by side of my before and after. In one calendar year, I have had a 35-pound weight difference, and that's kind of crazy to experience. It might be crazy to see, but it's really crazy to experience how I feel in my body. It feels like a brand new body. I'm still figuring things out. And I was laughing with someone yesterday that I can look down at my shoes and my belly is not in the way. I can preach and sing and I'm not out of breath. Man, I don't get sweaty when I'm doing regular things. I can stand on my feet for long periods of time. I am really, 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 really proud of myself. And I am experiencing so many benefits of being 35 pounds lighter than I was earlier this year. I still remember back in April and May when I was 35 pounds heavier and I was frustrated. I was frustrated because I had tried so many other things, and I told myself that 2024 was going to be my year. This was going to be the year that I lost weight, but it was not happening. And my birthday was coming up, and I told myself that I would lose weight for my birthday. Before that, I had told myself I was going to lose weight for the new year. And so many other things had happened. And here I was on the eve of my birthday at my heaviest. And I finally came to a place of making the type of determination that I want to share with you today. So let me tell you how I gained 35 pounds in the first place. I became a pastor officially in 2010. And when I became a pastor, I was in my recognizable body. It was something around what I am right now. I was running at that time, lifting, and man, thinking back to it, I was running about 4 miles a day at that point in time. I got to get back there. But I had a great body back then. And my weight was never even a consideration. It wasn't something that was, it wasn't something that bothered me. I just did what I had to do. I ate what I needed to eat, and my body was amazing, but I didn't really understand the type of commitment that I needed to keep that body. And so when the stress of ministry started to creep up on me, I started eating. And the things that I was eating triggered some food addictions. And before you know it, in that first 2 years, I had gained 20 pounds. But when you're less than 35, less than 33, you can fast real quick and lose 20 pounds and be like, normal. And so I started a cycle of fasting. And that worked until maybe I was 35. And then at 35, that fasting thing didn't work anymore. And from about 35 onward, the better part of the last 10 years, I've been in a real frustrating cycle of gaining weight, losing a little bit of weight, and then gaining more weight. And in the last 10 years, I have tried so many plans, so many initiatives. I have spent literally thousands of dollars on plans and courses and new diets and all this kind of stuff. And When I came to April of 2024, after probably 6 of the roughest months of my life, in October, my mom passed, and I also, in like August of 2023, on a trip to South Africa, discovered some very noticeable fibroids in my abdomen. I went for surgery to manage those in November, and my body had so adjusted to the size of those fibroids that they couldn't even get to all of them in one day. I had to wait like a month, and then they did another surgery, and it was the most painful experience that I had, which I believe kind of dipped me into a depression. And I carried the grief of my mom and then the physical pain that I was going through into 2024. Well, because I had developed a habit of addressing physical and emotional pain with food, I went in. And while I had lost a couple of pounds, I wound up gaining that and more. And on the eve of my 44th birthday, I was sitting at my highest weight, and I was just undone. I was angry with myself. I was angry that I had gotten there again. I was angry that I couldn't find a plan that was going to work for me. I was angry that other people seemed to be successful and not me. And in that moment, a reality confronted me that I want to use to confront you. The reality was that while I had tried different things, I had never truly committed to anything. If I had started a plan and I went on vacation, then I ditched the plan and ate as though I wasn't on a plan. So I would come back from vacation needing to lose what I gained on vacation and then go back to the plan again. I was inconsistent. I was irritable, and I was distractible. So I had to be honest with myself that over the 9 years, that even though I wanted to lose weight, technically, that I had never put a full weighted effort on anything. Two quotes that I want to share with you. One is a sermon that I heard from T.D. Jakes, and he says that same thing that I just said, that many of us have never put a full weighted effort behind anything. That if we look at our lives, that there's just a whole bunch of unfinished projects, half done, half completed scenarios, so that we really have to name correctly our current situation as the situation we have chosen. Now, I know that if you're listening to me and you're overweight, that you can talk about a lot of different things that have happened that have, had an effect on you and caused you to be where you are right now. You may have gone through grief. You may have had an injury. You may have been in a situation where other people have placed you in bad situations. You may have been abused and all of those things. And I don't want to take anything away from all that you have experienced to this point. And with all of that, the reality is that when it comes to the outcomes that you have wanted, that you have not, for whatever reason, put a full weighted effort behind what it is that you wanted to do, and determined that no matter what people say, No matter what they try, no matter who passes away and who gets sick, no matter what breaks or what sprains, this is what we are doing in this season. And I recognize that the people who are receiving success are individuals who have stuck with it no matter what. And in April of 2024, I made a decision that I was losing weight this year, that this would for real be the year that I lost weight. That's number one. I finally made a decision, a full weighted decision. That's number one, a full weighted decision. I stood 10 toes down on the fact that I was losing weight this year. The second thing that I did is that I found a plan that works for me. Now, when you talk about losing weight, there are 350,000 plans known to man, and books and approaches that people have used to lose weight. Girl, you can go anywhere. My brother, you can go anywhere and find several different people who can tell you 10 different ways to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks. But you know what you won't very easily find is a plan that works for you. And a challenge that I was having before is that I was trying plans that worked for other people, that worked with their personality, with their gift mix, with their timetable, with their family structure, with their biochemistry and microbiome and all of that kind of stuff. But I really hadn't invested the time to find something that was going to work for me. And if I was going to lose 35 pounds in any amount of time, that I needed something that was going to work for me. And so the plan that I used a medical weight loss plan that worked for me. And I'm not going to argue with y'all as to whether or not medical weight loss is something that you should do. You do what works for you. I did what worked for me. I'm, again, not arguing with you. If medical weight loss is not something that you want to do, girl, don't do it. My brother, keep on. Do what you need to do. But the number two thing that you owe yourself on any journey is to figure out what's going to work for you. And once I found a plan that worked for me with 10 toes down, I stuck with that thing. And listen, it worked more quickly than I thought it would. My nurse practitioner is looking like, girl, it worked so fast. Because with my lifestyle and with the way that I, with my schedule and all that kind of stuff, man, that thing, boom, it came right off. I exercised as I had been exercising. I ate as I needed to eat. Man, I made sure that I stayed on plan and I stayed within what I needed to stay within, even when traveling. I've had a trip to Europe. I've had trips all around the United States on this plan. And everywhere I went, I was clear as to what my plan was. So that means that even if people were going out, if my friends were having cheesecake, if they were eating whatever late at night, if they were, whatever they were doing, I was clear as to what my plan was. And at the end of exactly 4 months, I was 35 pounds down. So I've already said, number one, you got to put your full weighted effort on this thing. Number two, you have to choose a plan that's going to work for you. And you know what number three is? You have to enjoy the journey. When I look back at the last, it's 5 months now, do you know that I'm actually 6 pounds beyond what my goal was? It's unbelievable. And even though I'm technically supposed to be in maintenance, I could keep going because I'm enjoying the journey. I've traveled, I've made memories, I've spent time with family, I've done like incredible stuff. I've been to Seattle, I was in the Needle, at the Needle in Seattle, I've been on the Eiffel Tower. I mean, like, it's been amazing. It has been absolutely amazing. I enjoyed the journey. So I didn't have to, even though I was paying attention to how many pounds I was losing per week, I didn't have to be like obsessed with it. I did what I was supposed to do, and it's like a set it and forget it kind of thing. I enjoyed the journey. I made memories. I did fun things. That weight came right off. Man, it's been so incredible. But I want you to know that the principles that I've given to you can be applied to any kind of life change that you want to have in your journey. Number one, you need to give a full weighted effort to whatever it is that you say you want. If you want to have a degree, you can have a degree. And it doesn't matter what age you are. You're never too old. You're never too young to have a degree. But you're going to have to put your full weight behind that thing. And then number two, you're going to have to pick something that's going to work for you. Somebody else may be able to do school at night, but you, honey, you're going to need to be in a brick and mortar, sitting in front of somebody who is instructing you. And if that doesn't work for somebody else, then that doesn't work for them. But what works for you? What works for you? And then finally, you get to enjoy the journey. I didn't say this before, but I'm going to say this now. You know, you do not have to cry and sweat blood in order for something to be effective. In fact, if you're sweating blood and crying while you're doing something, your psyche is probably going to rebel against it and cut it off. So this whole mentality where it's almost like a eat your vegetables mentality. We got to choke this thing down in order for it to be good. That's foolishness. That's the nonsense that our grandparents were fed and that were passed down to us. Like, you got to choke. If something is not nutritious unless it's getting choked down. We've never lived in that world where it had to be that way. But especially now, it does not have to be that way. You can find something that you enjoy and ride along. Enjoy the journey. And as you enjoy the journey and make memories on that journey, this is something that you're not going to abandon or rebel from. Like, I don't ever have to go away from what I'm doing right now. I feel absolutely fine. And, you know, I talked with my provider on yesterday. We're just going to maintain and keep on going. And I'm not panting for the finish line. I'm just living. And I want you to do that same thing as well. I want you to be clear that I haven't given you a specific goal. I haven't talked about your macros. I haven't talked about your macronutrient balance and all that other stuff. No, because it doesn't matter unless you make a decision that you're going to do something. I've listened to hundreds of videos and never made a decision. I can tell you all, I can design a meal plan for you and keto. I can design a vegan meal plan for you. I can do a gluten-free meal plan. I know how to set up your macronutrients and everything. Listen, but I didn't commit to any of those plans that I paid all of that money to learn. I have lots of information, but unless you're going to utilize the information, it is useless. Number one, you have to make a decision that this is what you're going to do and stand 10 toes down on it. And then after you stand 10 toes down on that thing, you got to make sure that you make that commitment. You know, you got to stick with it, right? You got to stick with it no matter what. And then enjoy the journey. I think I got those three right. But if I didn't, y'all have grace and mercy on me. Listen, I'm 35 pounds down, and I'm going to be this size for the foreseeable future. If, man, what it say? If the Lord allows and the creek don't rise, I'm here because I finally figured out what works. I made my decision. I'm 10 toes down on this thing. I'm finding something. I found something that worked for me. There it is, number 2. And then number 3, I'm enjoying the journey. And listen, whether it's losing 35 pounds or getting a new degree, or, getting back out there to date again, or finding your way back into your spiritual life, if you do those 3 things, you'll see great success as well. Well, you can follow me on all social media platforms. If you have not already subscribed, please do it right there. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers, and you can help me to get there. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. Use that button, and then you can use the little bell button, so that when I go live or whenever I put up a video, you'll be the first to be notified. And I hope that you'll put in the chat what it is that you're trying to do, what your goal is. And man, when you accomplish that goal, come back to this video and let me know that you've accomplished it.